Hello. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Slope Club. Welcome back to another album discussion review. It's ya boy, and with me this episode, the champions of quarantine, Tron, Josh, and Jimmy. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Hey.
What up?
Yeah, this episode, we're gonna talk about Wasta.
Ooh.
Hey, let's go.
We're gonna talk about their first album. It's called The World Standard. So yeah, Wasta, The World Standard. That's what their name is short. What is that called? What is that word when you shorten like multiple words? Make it a
Portmanteau.
There you go. Thank you, Jimmy. Yes,
That's a big word.
That's what they are. 5 members from Idol Street, which is the Avex kind of.
They're like sub-label.
Yeah. Wasta marked the 4th group out of Idol Street. And I guess now they're the most popular one. I mean, since 2 of them are gone now.
Yeah.
Cheeky Parade and Gem.
Oh man, bless.
But anyway, Wasta, very well known for their colorful pastel outfits. You know, they do songs for anime, what's Pre-Para, right? And they perform a lot outside of Japan, being the world standard, I guess. If you want to know more about them in detail, we did that Story of Wasta.
Ooh, I don't trust that narrator though. Something about him just doesn't vibe well with me.
I dig him. I like him.
Y'all are just gonna have to check that out yourselves. But we're gonna talk about their first album.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious what you guys thought about this album. I was really, really big on this album when it came out. I think it was on a heavy repeat in my car. Doing lots of long drives between San Diego and LA, listening to some really cute Japanese pop music. I think this is what I would consider like the definition of saccharine pop music.
Interesting.
Like sugary sweet,
That's definitely the case in this album. Yeah.
2016, so it's barely over 4 years by the time of this episode. But as Jimmy said, nice. I feel like it's a nice kind of varied collection of idol pop, synth pop styles. They take some elements from and inspirations from like different genres and stuff, but it's still pretty bubblegum idol pop.
Yeah, I say it's like it knows what genre it is, and it's able to like jump off of those as different genres, which I liked about it.
Yeah.
Because I never actually like fully listened to this album. Like I've listened to like random Wasta songs, and then like after checking out the Story of Wasta, you could check in the description down below. I was curious about them, so that's when I started listening to different songs and everything. And then listening to this full album, I was like, oh, okay, so this is what to expect from Wasta.
So we're all at least we all knew of Wasta.
Yes. I've never listened to this album until reviewing it. So this is my first like foray diving deep into Wasta.
But you've heard of the group.
Of course, yeah.
So Jimmy, I think you're the most Wasta fan out of all of us, right?
Yeah, I guess that's safe to say.
What's some of your faves?
So I think you would be remiss not to mention Ultra Mirakuru Finaru Ultimate Chocolate Beam.
Oh, first song.
I think that was their the first song. I think that was their major label debut song. I think if you were to ask me to sum up Wasta as quickly as possible, that would be the one that I sent. It's very kind of like a celebration of a lot of subculture, like the whole song is like this like Final Fantasy, like Japanese RPG really centric themed song. But for me, I think my favorite has to be Chisana Chisana.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of, I think, just to touch on like what Josh was saying, I think the nice thing about this album, it's like a lot of pop music, very at its core, while exploring different genres. and so it feels cohesive enough because that pop influence is there. It's I believe this album was one of the ones still by Suzuki Manaka. And so that really gives it, like, it ties it all together. But then I don't know, I'm a big sucker for just pop folk music,
Yeah.
you know, and there's just something very like wholesome, like heartwarming about that song, you know.
That's a nice. It has a little bit of like bluegrass influence, you know. Got
Yeah.
Bluegrass.
I think it's sang pretty well too.
I've never like really heard that crossover that much in idol songs. Maybe I'm just not as well versed, but like bluegrass and idols have never really come to. I've never really seen that before. I guess before the song, so that's actually really interesting. That I was surprised because I've heard like jazz and like other like Latin. Some of these songs actually on this album have like Latin influences, but like bluegrass folk songs like that, like Chisana Chisana was really interesting to hear. So it's interesting that it's one of your favorite songs. It was an interesting song.
Groups kind of use elements from bluegrass, but there's no actual like idol group that's centered around that sound.
I think I could count like the amount of idol songs that use that, as far as I know, like on one hand, right?
Going back to Choco Beam for a sec, that's the opener. That's actually my introduction to Wasta. That was their first song, first music video that I saw.
Yeah.
And so my impression of that was, it's like hyperactive, like multi-genre, kind of like Momoro Clover or Denpagumi. So coming into this album, I was expecting kind of more of that.
Yeah, same. I was expecting like all that sound.
Just kind of like really energetic, kind of almost too much energy. But I was pleasantly surprised to hear a lot of the variety, because I didn't really pay attention to Wasta that much when this album came out. More of a Paradox World guy.
Ah, fair. Mm-hmm.
I like the games stuff, like all the RPG where it's like, my ultimate Choco Beam didn't work.
Damn, dude, we gotta start over, bro.
Yeah. I remember the first time watching this and I like looked them up. I went to their website and they all had like stats.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Like one's like a glass cannon, right? Like, oh, no HP, but the attack's super high.
That's right. No, I thought when I first because as that was their first like single debut and everything like that, I felt like it was just another like inspirational group that was similar to like early Momoclo, kind of like to a Boy's Point. So I literally, it's funny that Boy mentioned that, because going into the album I thought the same thing. It's like, oh, it's gonna be very, and then listen to the first song, like, oh, it's gonna be very upbeat, a lot of energy, high Genki songs, and that really wasn't the case throughout this whole album. It was the first song.
Swerved us, dude.
It swerved, yeah, it's definitely swerved.
Dude, they gotta lure in the otaku with the bait, you know what I mean? Like, hey, you guys like Akiba culture? Come here, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's kind of what the group was formed around, right? It was about like what is it? Yeah, kind of like expressing a lot of like Japanese subculture throughout the world internationally, right? I think they're very smart about it, right? Because if they just kind of stuck to the novelty of it, I don't think it would, for me anyways, be very listenable, right? I'd be like, okay, this is interesting, but I'd want to move on. So there's like pros and cons with it. Like this song features all 5 of the members pretty prominently, but Wasta just kind of broken up like an exile group. You know what I mean? They've got like 2 members that are actually singers, and then the other 3 are more of like the performers, so like dancers and things like that, right? And so this one you'll see a lot of vocal lines for all the members, but then the rest of the song will feature Nanase and Ruka, the 2 singers, more. So it's like, okay, you don't get it's quite the vocal chops that Wasta is hiding with this song, but it's like, okay, it's a kind of a nice introduction to the group though, right?
So to the point then, is like Suki na Hito kind of an example of like the 2 singers?
Yeah, that's the 2 main vocals.
Because I felt like that song was like very much, I didn't know it was, I guess my Japanese isn't that well known, or like I didn't really notice that it was only 2 people singing it the first time I listened to the album. But my first note was like, wow, they're definitely like flexing their vocal ranges in the songs, just like the different pitches and stuff like that. So
I think that's one of the points that differentiate them a bit from when they do like the super hyperactive type songs.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of like part of the core of their sound. And not just like the bubblegum pop stuff, but like their vocals. And especially those two, right? Because they're the main vocals.
Yeah, and I think as a listener, that's something I really enjoy is that like especially in a song like Skinahito, right? I can like kind of sit back and be like, okay, that's Nanase's voice. Okay, here's Ruka's part. I think that's one of my complaints, I guess, about some of the bigger idol groups, with like when they have a bunch of members, like say like Morning Musume or the 48 or 46 groups. It's like, especially lately, that you get less solo lines or maybe duet lines, and more it's just like this constant wall of voices.
Like at least 5 members, right, singing at the same time.
Yeah. So you don't really get to hear like the quality of the voice and get to know them. And to me, it's like I think that's very personable when you can hear a song and be like, okay, that's that member's voice.
Yeah, actually, those 2 songs are like my favorites of the album. I think like Ultra Miracle and Skinahito. I enjoy those 2 a lot. First one because of course. It's the sound I kind of expected, but it kind of introduced me to Wasta, and I was interested from like the very start, which I think is a good thing for this album. Just starting you off with this super energy song, it has all these genres, and you don't know what to expect for the next song. And then Skinahito, of course, that spicy guitar intro. Ooh,
you can't just talk about spicy guitar lines without Ranran Jidai, dude.
That's the one.
That song is fuego, dude. Just
that's definitely Latin acoustic vibes for sure.
Yeah, I like the the rhythms are pretty cool too. Very Latin flavor, right? It's nice.
There's a lot of change-ups in the rhythm, I think, which is very, very appreciative, right? The producers are really flexing on this album, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
I feel like they're having a lot of fun with it. It's never like this like very passive like, okay, just like here's your standard 4 on the floor, right? It's like, nah, right? We're gonna give you like a little thing and then just like suddenly change it up mid song, and it's just, to me, it makes it very like I would listen to it on drives because it would just keep me awake because I'm like, okay, here's this part coming up. There's this part coming up, right? It's never just like, okay, here's just this song, right?
It flows well. It doesn't feel like it's 2 different songs.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Especially on Choco Beam, where it's like multiple genres, right? But it still flows well. So that makes it like very listenable and enjoyable.
So I'm curious what you guys thought of Inu Neko Seishun Masakari. It's also one of my favorites. And I feel like it is, when people think of obnoxious Wasta songs, I feel like that has to be up there. So I'm just very curious what you guys...
I want to say that's my favorite song off the track. It's
like my man.
Super, wow. It's like really hype pop rock, and then like the chorus is really catchy. That's like that won an award, did it not?
It did, yeah. But like, I feel like that song when I show it to people is so hit or miss, right?
I can see that.
I mean, yeah, I guess I'm used to how Wasta is, I guess. That's as like obnoxious as you're gonna get, but like the chorus wins me over every time.
Yeah, dude. It's just that's like the cutest call and response, dude. It's just,
dude, are you a cat guy or are you a dog guy, man?
Cat, yan, dog, one. I'm like, ooh, yeah, give it to me, And then
I'm personally a dog guy, so
This one must be great for crowd participations. Like I could just imagine the crowd going crazy for like a lot of different parts in the song.
And it's just like, I don't know, it's got that like funky rock guitar riff. Like, it's just like, ooh, I don't know. I feel like it was just this song's like a tornado, It just comes in, it just wrecks everything, and you're just like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, like I really like the song, but I don't feel like I would blast it out of my car. Because,
Too
the
embarrassed,
recognizable
Too
one.
embarrassed.
I was thinking, are you too embarrassed?
Inu, what? Neko.
That's
Josh is a
that's
fish
when you try to
guy.
get
He's
people to
neither.
look.
That's why you won't blast out
Come
of
on,
this
come
guy.
on. One, come on, everyone.
Come on, man.
One. What if there's not one guy walking down the street? He goes, yen.
Oh,
the
man.
one Wasta guy randomly.
Insta burrow right there.
Well, I'll say another song that I really enjoyed. Another one was Suika Wari.
Damn, I was gonna say that.
That's that samba hit, dude.
Ooh, yeah. It's like a Latin festival at the beginning, and then like it transitions to like slow pop song, comes back up with the electronic music, and then like it all mixes together with the Japanese festival feel added to that. It's just a good combination of everything.
Yeah, that's probably my other song. That's my other favorite off the album. It's just the mood and the vibe is really nice.
I feel like if Akihabara had to come up with a float for Carnival, this is the song that would be playing. You know what I mean? Because it's still distinctly an Akiba kind of J-pop idol song for sure. But man, you can tell that they made it to fit that vibe, right? That's like as listenable as possible for a Japanese audience while keeping the spirit, I guess. Because like, man, those percussions be hitting, you know, that really
the cowbell,
Yeah.
It's those the big bass drum, the dum kit dum kit dum, and then like they got the horns, you know.
The flow would be like a giant watermelon.
Yeah, and it's like that summer festival vibe, right? Splitting watermelons, dude. Suikawari. You know, you live out your anime dreams. Gotta get blindfolded at the beach. Get a stick.
Tron, did you have any favorites?
Yeah, actually, my favorite song hasn't been mentioned yet. It's actually Doki Doki Today. That's actually my favorite song. It's interesting because listening to this album, and I think Boy kind of mentioned it, how like the arrangements and how the girls, just how they're singing is different than some of the other idol groups that we're used to. And I think that just contributes to their training through AVEX. And I feel like that's something that I see a lot of other idol street groups and trainees / now after debuting is like how they sing. And I feel like Doki Doki Today just isn't like what I would consider like a Genki upbeat idol song, like some other stuff on this album. But for some reason, the arrangement and the production of that song was really made an impression on me.
It's a pretty nice, like, chill synth pop vibe.
Exactly, yeah. It reminded me of like early Tokyo Girl style, which is another.
To me, it came off kind of city pop-ish, like in the verse parts. I do like the feel of it though.
Yeah, so that one made the impression on me. But actually, my favorite song probably is Ino Neko.
Okay.
I mean, it's just a hype song, pop rock. So it's a very hype song. It's probably one of the stronger songs.
I feel like there's no bad songs on this album. I mean, this is me being biased. It's just that I think because, like, especially that middle part of this album, you know, we talked about, you know, like everything from like Skina Hito through Chie-sana is like very exploratory music, right? It just suddenly switched genres and things like that. Whereas like I think Doki Doki Today and even Wonderful World, they're like a little bit more, you know, straight pop songs, maybe electro pop, synth pop kind of stuff. So it's kind of, I hesitate to say forgettable, but it's kind of like, you know, it doesn't quite leave an impression as much as the other songs.
Compared to the ones that do take influence from other genres of music, Doki Doki Today and Wonderful World doesn't. You can't really go back and be like, oh yeah, that's the one that sounds like a samba song, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like I wrote down like it was like this Avex polish. I feel like it has like Avex like.
Oh yeah, there's definitely AVEX money all over this, dude.
Arrangements and production, like a mixing, is like those two songs, Doki Doki Today and Wonderful World, which definitely, you know, that this is definitely an AVEX group.
I think that's what I like most about idol streets, idol groups. Like their sound is really like the production is really crispy.
No, that's exactly what I noticed in this album is like so how the production is.
So yeah, I tend to notice like at least for idol street groups and then this album, the arrangement and the instrumentation is what I like more. Even though like I said that the vocals are really strong, it's the music for me.
Right.
Yeah. They like I said, the producers really flexed on this, right? Suzuki Monaca's like, let me go all out, you know. I feel like this was very much like just as much a personal passion project for her as it is like as a producer as it is like this idol project. All right.
Yeah, she doesn't do their stuff as much anymore, does she?
No. I think she just did the first two albums.
Okay, yeah, their more recent stuff is kind of different.
Any other songs you guys want to call out?
Oh, I like Zilly Love. Got that electro swing vibe.
Oh, that swing tempo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's bouncy.
jazzy sound.
I-
yeah.
Like electro swing to me always gives off like this kind of sassy, confident vibe. I like that.
It's like Casino Royale vibes, right?
Yeah.
But like everything with this like under this big veil of Japanese idol pop, right? And I think that maybe that sums up how I feel. But I think I was like very excited because it all does this without being like while being very unapologetically Japanese pop music. Like with some other groups when they try to too hard to go different styles, like it just feels disingenuous to me.
Yeah. Or like it's too different from what they usually do, so it kind of loses what attracted me to that group in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like Wasta does it really well because like even if they do explore outside of like a pop style, it's still in this pop context, right? Because they still have like that core sound that makes them an idol group to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Skina Hito is Nanase and Ruka, right? The duo. The other three have a song where they're like the trio, right? And that's Nico Nico.
I really like this song actually. It was more like idol
Yeah, dude,
centric
it's
song.
so cute, dude. Oh my god.
In the end, it's a pretty straightforward bubblegum pop idol track, but I do like the kind of rock and roll feel that it has at times.
Mm-hmm.
It fits, I guess, because the other three aren't like main vocals, so it's more like cute and fun.
Yeah, you could definitely hear that in the vocals that it's more cutesy than some of the other ones. Like, it's more like pepped up a little.
It's still about the music, but like there's different aspects to music than just vocal ability, right? And of course, when a group has that, it's like it's not like I don't appreciate when it's there.
It's a nice extra.
Yeah. But like, songs like Nico Nico Hanbunko is like that's one of the reminders. Like, okay, no, you can still have like a really well produced song, a very fun song, a very listenable song without having like. It sounds like we're dogging these girls as like they're terrible singers, but but it's just like you don't need to have like amazing vocal abilities, right? Like
you got to sell the vibe.
yeah, exactly.
They're
vibe
probably
is
just
so
way
important.
better singers than most idol group out there because of their AVEX training. I feel like.
Yeah.
So I think that's just like no one's dogging no one here.
You can hear that with other idol group or idol street groups, especially Cheeky Parade. Like there was a lot of similarities and.
Yeah, it's very chesty vocals. All right,
Guys, kind of gives them like an identity, right? I guess as part of a bigger group.
it's a good balance, I think, because like you get vocals from like the performers who I think don't have that sound as much. They kind of have like the more traditional cutesy idol vibe vocals, and then it balances out with like these more more weighted, more grounded kind of like chest voice that you get from Ruka and Nanase.
All right, let's go through some of the other songs we haven't talked about. One is Wonderful World. What did you guys think about this?
Wonderful World. It's pretty bright and bubbly, right? But like pretty straightforward, like electro pop style idol song. It's serviceable. Not one of the best, in my opinion, in the album, but it's not bad.
It's like it's very much like pop EDM song, right? Very straightforward. Like I don't know, like you're gonna be in the venue, got your pen light in hand, and this is when you bump.
It sounds like a song that when I was listening to the song, I wrote down the note of it's something that you think of a girls group, not so much an idol group. Which I think this goes back to just the AVEX production, like we talked about before, like Doki Doki Today and Wonderful World just feels like a group that I've never heard of from AVEX is singing this song, and I'd probably think like, oh yeah, it's definitely AVEX sounding, not knowing if it's Wasta just because of the production and like the song mix. But no, I enjoyed it, yeah. But EDM sounding.
All right, then you would find this song playing in the cutest club in the world.
The cutest club.
It's Wasta's
Yeah,
club.
see, Josh is ready to fist bump, dude.
There we go.
But yeah, the closer is Ima wa Mukashi.
Now is a long time ago.
Yeah, it's it's a mid-tempo kind of acoustic kind of pop R&B style ballad.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is probably like the one thing that's like a true ballad.
Yeah.
It's nice, It's kind of got that like, yeah, that nice little groove to it. Still mid tempo. Doesn't like it's not like a full on like time to cry or anything.
It's still got the idol pop element of Wasta.
Which is why I think it works well versus like we just talked about how some groups who try to do these kind of genre songs don't really mesh well. But this one actually I wrote down like it's one of the few idol ballad songs I don't mind because of their arrangement and how they still have that element of pop in it, which is pleasant to hear. So typically it's not really my jam when idol groups do these kind of songs, but this is one of the few exceptions that really I enjoyed.
Because it's not completely like R&B like some other idol groups try to do.
Yeah.
So.
They're not doing a bunch of vocal runs out of nowhere, and you're just like, oh, what is stop that, It makes it a really good closer in my opinion. It's like a very I like that this album kind of takes you on a journey. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one thing about this is I enjoyed the arrangement and everything, but then I feel like it felt a little long. And then I looked at the time and I was like, oh, there's still like
because it
so
is
much
long.
minutes long, so many minutes left. So I feel like it feels long and it's a long one.
Yeah. I think it's 2 minutes longer than the next longest song, right?
Yeah, I think it's purposefully done long because it's the last song.
Yeah, it's the closer.
It's to close out the adventure, I guess.
Like if this was a concert, I would be very happy with this set list.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
like
a lot of variety.
No, lots of good variety.
And it's like I don't know, if you ended on a song, and conversely this could be good or bad. If you ended on something like Inuneko Seishun Masakari, I feel like I'd be like way too hype afterwards. I'd be like, what do I do with all this energy? I got hyped and now we're done.
It's like encore, bring him back, man.
Yeah, but this one is like, okay, dude, this is like me and my boys and girls. I don't, I'm not trying to exclude here. We got arm in arm. We're just kind of vibing with the song. Yeah.
All right, now looking at all the songs, let's go ahead and rate all of them.
I think overall I'm going to give this album an 8. I think it was, like I said, this song was on heavy repeat for me when it came out. I think it's like a great album. I just can't quite bump it up to a 9 because I just don't think it had like that cultural impact, you could say, with like some of the other albums we've discussed. But that being said, I think there's so much here. There's like we talked about, there's good vocal abilities. There's very strong production. There's a lot of variety in it, but it's all cohesive. It's probably a very it's a very strong recommend in general. So that's why I'm going to go with an 8.
I will give this a 7. I'm gonna lean towards an 8, but a 7. I like the variety, but still keeping it very Wasta at the core. The vocal work is really nice. It sounds a little bit more mature than their contemporaries, right? And so it doesn't make them as silly as they portray themselves as, I guess, given their outfits and crazy looks that they do. But yeah, there's a lot of focus on solo lines, even though there's only 5 of them. There are 2 main vocals, and so they kind of like hold it down. But yeah, overall a solid, fun album. I just wish like some of the melodies were more memorable to me. Like Inoneko and Suikawari are my favorites. But because of their arrangements. And I guess the majority of the album I like more for the instrumentation and arrangement. Rather than like the melodies. So yeah. It's a solid recommend though. Fun album.
So this is actually a very pure review in a sense that like I never really followed Wasuta going into this album. I knew of them. I knew their first single, Choco Beam, but never really dived into any of their album songs or singles after that. So I was really pleasantly surprised how well this album was put together. If you know me, and I've kind of kept the same sort of theme throughout the course of these albums, and my preference in terms of idol music, I love the sugary bubblegum pop sound. The high energy songs are something that I just really love, and there's just enough incorporated in this album that really satisfied my need for those kind of types of songs. And plus, you layer in the great vocal work that some of the members have. Jimmy alluded to it. I was pleasantly surprised, but then realized that, well, this is an Avex group, so I shouldn't be too surprised how well some of these girls sing and like their vocal ranges. But then when you couple with the Avex productions and the songs like Doki Doki Today and Wonderful World, like I really actually enjoy those mainstream pop synth songs, and I think it was a good compliment. And really, there was no song on this album that was like a skip for me. I really enjoyed every single song in this album to an extent, so I'm actually gonna give this a 9 out of 10 for 8.5, but really since we round up, it's 9. I just really enjoyed the album. Like I was like really surprised. I kept on playing it. I'm just like, really is no strong like non-weak song in this album. So
I'm so touched right now.
yeah,
Like,
so I was pleasantly
like,
surprised. Pure, no bias. I don't have a favorite member. I don't know any of the girls' names in the group. I'll be honest with you, but the album itself was really well put together. It really just falls in line with what I look for in an idol, album. So there you go.
Yeah, well, I guess after this you're gonna find out more by watching the Story of Wasta on our channel.
No, give your review first, and then we can plug. Jesus Christ.
I think for me this is an 8 out of 10. It was close to the 9, but I think it barely got to 8. Like it could have gone to 9, but I feel like maybe if they changed a couple things here or there, it could have gotten there. I enjoyed the variety in this album. I thought there was a lot of variety both in genre and in the instrumentation. That I was really enjoying all the songs, but keeping it really cohesive with the sound that they have. I think that's like the thing that really won me over. That like everything sounds like Wasta, but it all has so much variety to it, which I think is like the best thing about it. Because when I first came into this, I was like, okay, they're all gonna sound like, all cutesy bubblegum pop and stuff like that. But I was pleasantly surprised. And I usually don't like the bubblegum pop, but for some reason this worked for me. So that's a good thing.
So it is an 8 out of 10 between the four of us. Yeah.
I think that's a pretty solid score.
Yeah, it's safe to say that as a group, we all strongly recommend you guys give this a listen, especially if if you're like Tron and you come to idols for that sweet pop happy music. I'm sure, especially now, we could all use something very positive to kind of brighten up our day. I think Wasta is a great group for that. And yeah, if you're curious to learn more about them, feel free to check out our video. We do have a story of where I kind of go through the history, the concept, and the members of Wasta. And make sure you subscribe so you can always know when we release more of these videos and other things down the pipeline. And we'll see you guys in the next video.